everybody out there, and welcome to Brian's Basement, episode 63. Yeah, it's 63 episode. And as you can tell, 63 is one of my favorite numbers because believe it or not, way back in the day, the artsy-fartsy nerd that sits before you was a football player, and I loved football. And I'm not loving this thing not sticking behind my head, but, you know. Anyway, I loved football. It was a great time, and I still think about it often. So I thought, why not commemorate the 63rd episode of Brian's Basement to football, right? Everybody's favorite sport. So yeah, let me know what's going on out in the comments. I've got a couple songs for you tonight, so let me know what's going on. And yeah, we're going to play songs about football. So the first song, we're just going to jump right into it. The thing about, I had a chat one time with my brother Jason about this, and the thing about it is, I had a very nice life. I still have a very nice life. Not a whole lot of adversity, in my life thus far. And football is really this kind of artificial adversity that's completely fabricated in a fairy tale world of good and evil, and it's nice to have some of that because otherwise there would really be no opportunity for me to overcome anything. And so I think it was really important for me, and I still think about it to this day. I'll never admit it's hot outside, ever. And I still like if I have to go for a jog and it's hot out, I just go. Kim's like, you're going to die out there. No, I'm not going to die. I'll be fine. And all of that is a result of this kind of false adversity. So I'm really thankful that I'd never had to deal with anything real serious, because a lot of people do, and they play football too. That's how tough a lot of people are. But I never had to do that. But I still think about it often when things are challenging or stupid. I'm just like, well, it can't be as bad as that year when there was no record heat and there was no grass, and 22 people on the team. So this first song is called, I don't know, they don't really have titles, but I've been calling it The Dust Field because that's what I think of. Heat-X climbs higher than it's ever been. No grass on this field since the season began. Dry ground is hard as a concrete slab. Stings straight through antique shoulder pads. Run through the gauntlet and get your bell rung. No shade to escape the beating sun. Sandpaper ground makes your elbows bleed. Blisters all over your tired feet. Rub some dirt on it. Get tough. We created a hell and you showed up. Suck it up, hold your head high. If you make it out of here, you'll get by. Bodies collide with a deafening thud. freshman blood, and coaches screaming up in your face, struggling to remember the simple place. Two-a-day practice, dawn to dusk. Come home, nothing but a crumpled husk. An ice-cold shower and the muscles are sore. Early to bed, 'cause tomorrow there's more. Rub some dirt on it, get tough. We created a hell and you showed up. Suck it up, hold your head high. If you make it out of here, you'll get by. Years gone by in conditioned air, computer screen and desk and chair, manager barking out dull commands, staring at the minute hand. Seems a little silly, but I still lean on. Trials of summers from years gone by. Temperature today will get to 92. Not nearly the worst that I've been through. Rub some dirt on it, get tough. We created a hell and you showed up. Suck it up, hold your head high. If you make it out of here, you will get by. Oh, we got some comments. Oh, Coach Dad says players today have it too easy. This is true. I'm sure every generation says this, but I actually do remember having to wake up like at 6:30 to go to two-a-days, and we weren't out of there by 4. And today, their two-a-day practices are like one of our one-a-days, and yeah, it was. They do have it a lot easier. We drank from a PVC pipe with holes drilled in it. Like there was no ice or coolers or water bottles or any of that. It was like being cattle. It was good times though. All right. Yeah. So one of the things that's really interesting about football and is that it's one of the few. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but to me, it's very film oriented. Like you always watch the tape, and this evolved. Like the really good coaches that you all know. The reason why they were so good for their time was they discovered the utility of watching the tape and learning from it, and becoming better coaches and planning better. And it's so weird because we don't do this a lot for anything else in life. Like you rarely go back to check the tape, either actually tape or, in a metaphorical sense. like at work, if you dork up, we don't really go, we don't check the tape, or if you if you like stub your toe, you don't like, oh, why'd that happen? So I always thought that was really interesting, and it's one of those things where you have to get up like super early in the morning to go, and it's really important. And I just kind of wish there was more tape that we could review for everything in life. Every time you say something stupid or do something dumb or get yourself in a situation that you realize, probably could have prevented this, it would be really nice to check the tape. So I wrote a song about that, and it's called The Film Room. Oh, we got to change the harmonica. This might be a shorter episode tonight. There was a time when we did like half-hour episode. So this might be one. But we'll see. We'll just keep going. See how chatty y'all are out there. Empty classroom on the 3rd floor. Morning light streaming in. CRT and a VCR. It's time to see what really happened. Look there, rewind, forms a mess and the tape don't lie. Freeze frame, see now you're in the wrong place. Different angle, zoom in, it's obvious from this perspective that I'll never run out of things to break down while I view it all from the film room. Purely logical evidence on a blurry TV screen. Shadows of last night's events, deciphering the meaning. Look there, rewind, the form's a mess and the tape don't lie. Freeze frame, see now you're in the wrong place. Different angle, zoom in, it's obvious from this perspective that I'll never run out of things to break down while I view it all from the film room. always want to capture more, and there's not enough time to review. Notebooks full of tales and lore. The solution still elude. Look here, rewind. Your form's a mess and the tape don't lie. Freeze frame. See now, you're in the wrong place. Different angle, zoom in. It's obvious from this perspective that I'll never run out of things to break down while I view it all from the film room. And I'll never run out of things to break down while I view it all from the film room. You know what's crazy about the film room? So I was a coach for a while. Man, everyone out there already knows that. But it is so crazy that within 10 years of me being out of high school, when we were watching film, it really was a giant one of these giant CRT TV, just like this, on a rolly cart that they would roll into the classroom, and there was a VCR, and the coach would put the tape in and forward and rewind with a remote like that. And in 10 years, now everything is streamed from the internet with multiple angles. It's going real time in the game, so you can, just like the NFL coaches do, you can now, like, you have like a tablet and you can watch it, and it has the stats on it, it takes notes. It's this crazy high tech thing. And it was so weird because I didn't feel that old. I still don't feel that old, but trying to explain what film was like to the kids made me seem like the equivalent to, you know, people saying, "Oh, back in the day, we only had 3 channels." It felt like that. The film room was crazy. I saw Kim Tippity typing. Kim says, "I used to check the tape when I was practicing advanced yoga to see where I can improve." Yeah, that's a good thing to do. It's a really good thing to do. You would think I could check the tape from these shows and see what to improve, but I haven't yet, and I probably never will. So take that for what you will. Yeah, like Kim says, only 2 shows left. Yeah, I know. Great. We got a props. Can we do a props producer, Kim? Uh-oh, where are my props? Okay, props. I have these props. I wanted to share these 2 episodes ago, but I forgot for 2 episodes. So I want to share them now. Friend of the show, Scott, he brought me some books to read. Books, everybody. Yeah. This is like, yeah, football guy reads books. So I just wanted to share these. I'm really excited about these, and I've started reading one of them, and I'm really enjoying it. And we'll see how these. I trust Scott's taste, and I'm going to, what do you call it? Promote these to you. I'm going to influence you. I'm an influencer, and I haven't read them, but I do trust Scott's taste. So the first one we got is Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I've never read this before, but I'm about halfway through it, and it's really cool. It's got kind of like this science fiction vibe to it, and it's an anti-war kind of almost borderline absurdist humor. It's really funny, I think, but kind of in a dark way. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm about halfway through, and that's really good. I've been reading that. We've got that. We've got City of Glass by Paul Auster, maybe. This book it's a graphic novel, and I've read a couple graphic novels, and I do like them. I like to make fun of I like to make fun of people that really like graphic novels and say they're not books because they have pictures, and that makes them really mad. But I do like them. And the back of this book says, New York was a labyrinth of endless steps, and no matter how far he walked, it always left him with the feeling of being lost. Each time he took a walk, he felt he was leaving himself behind. All places became equal, and on his best walks, he was able to feel that he was nowhere. This was all he ever asked for of things, to be nowhere. I don't know, it sounds interesting. City of Glass by Paul Auster. That's the other one, Scott. And finally, he gave me this book called We. I'm going to mess up this name, but I think it's Yevgeny Zamyatin. It's called We. And this is like a really early science fiction kind of book. It says, in the back says, written in 1921, We is set in the one state where we all live for the collective good and individual freedom does not exist. The novel takes the form of the diary of mathematician D503, who, to his shock, experiences the most disruptive emotion imaginable, love. At once satirical and sobering, and now available in a powerful new translation, We is both a rediscovered classic and a work of tremendous relevance to our own time. So, yeah, that's going to be, so that's props. Scott gave me some books. If anyone else got book recommendations, throw them down in chat or give me a book, and then you can be on the show in props, sort of, where your books can. But anyway, that's what I'll be doing these next couple of weeks is when I don't have to write so many things anymore, I can just read things, and that'll be nice. Great. Oh, hello, Alex. Tuning in late, but sick jersey. Should be paired with the pants for the true band look. Oh, he's talking about how I played in the marching band, I believe. I think this is what he's saying. I played in the marching band while I played football, so I'd go out in halftime in my jersey and my football pants, and I would be football band man, and I'd play my trombone, and I never got to go to halftime. But we were usually losing, so they were just yelling at us, and I already knew I could already fill in the blanks there pretty much. But yeah, I do have football pants on. These are my yellow, I think you can tell, they're my yellow short shorts, and they're Taylor Yellow Jackets, and Kim hates them. But that is not part of the uniform. That is just a coincidence because it's laundry day, and I don't have any more shorts. So this was not intended. It was really just the jersey says 63, but hey, here we are. But yeah, great. Let's do another song. This next song. So I've been trying to write some songs that are more imagery based, a little more abstract. Most of my songs are very straightforward. You know what's going on in them, and that's not a bad thing. That's just a style thing. But I'm trying to stretch a little bit and get a little more abstract. And I don't think this is a good version of this, because this song is just kind of focusing on one element of that. I think that all those good kind of abstract songs have good imagery that kind of paints a picture for you. And the good songs have more than that. This song just has that. So I wouldn't say that this is the pinnacle of my stylistic stretching here, but this is a song that's basically describing the football field at the old school that's no longer there. I went and drove around. Me and Tom, the friend of the show, Tom the Bomb. We were driving around, and we drove past the school and swapping stories like losers like us do. And we even drove past the middle school and saw how crazy it was that their whole field is now a parking lot for the church. It's wild. It's almost surreal, going down there. And this was right after we went to the overgrown Shawnee Lookout Forest. It was like, what has happened? But yeah, so this is just describing the old field, which I really thought was very cool. It was like a coliseum, but the columns were all trees, and like the Rome of old, bordered by the roads and cradled by the wings of the school, like a fortress. The lights were all dim like twilight, and the shadows cast very faint, and the schools across town had artificial ground, but we had real mud when it rained, older than anything in sight. And the grandstands swayed in the breeze, and the people draped themselves along the guard railings, and kids romped around like a bustling market crowd down by the band's double-wide trailer. Barely anyone watched the field at all. And I'm glad I gave myself time to force myself to remember. I looked at the lights the very last night that I took foot on the field as a player, and my last punt was a perfect spiral. Kim says she doesn't like my shorts. I don't understand why. I remember when the last home Taylor football game played on the old field, and they aired it on the local news and described the upward hill as the gotcha hill. Were you down here for that? Oh, wow. That's crazy. I was there. I was there at the very, very last game as a coach, and it was raining. It always rained at the end of the season, and the field was always just nothing but mud. And at the end of the game, everyone was, it was a nice moment. Everyone was out there, and I went out and I made a ball of mud from the field. Like, it just rolled it up. It's about as big as a baseball, and I was like, "This is so cool." And I put the ball in my trunk, and I drove home. And I left it there. And it dried up, and it got really hard. And it rolled in between the back seats on my car. They fold up and down. And there's like a crack. And it rolled into there. And it kind of wedged itself in there. And I saw it, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it in there. So it's still in there. This was years ago. And there's just a baseball-sized ball of mud in my car. I have to remember, when I get rid of that car, I have to remember to get that ball of mud out of there. Put it in my new car somewhere. Kim's just like shaking her head in complete and total shame. All right. I hope everyone's having a good week out there. I know I am. It's a nice day today. It's not super hot. Not that I'd care because I'm a tough guy from football. We already covered that. But yeah, everyone's having a good time out there. Got some shows coming up. Kim, you want to put those shows on the screen? I think it's under website. Yeah. We got some shows coming up. Friday the 2nd, solo show. It's 5 to 6:30 at Darkness. That's going to be a really fun one. We've got a band show on July 24th for the Darkness anniversary party. That's going to be a wild time. There's going to be all kinds of people there, party atmosphere, like a festival type of deal. Looking forward. We do that. We've done that past 3 years, I think. It's a great set, great time. It's really hot. It's always really hot, but I'll be there in my Meg Was a Good Drummer t-shirt or tank top, as always. And then we've got Lucius Q on Friday, August the 13th. I think that is going to be a crazy show. Friday night at Lucius Q, post-pandemic. It's going to be nuts. I'm hoping to have both decks filled, both floors filled. And so that'll be, make sure to check those out. Played a little with Scott last weekend for a little charity house show. That went really well. And and the band is back to a regular practice schedule. So we'll be ready to go for both that Darkness and the Lucius Q gig. So hope to see you there. And I say this all the time. I'm going to try to live stream it. But every time I do that, I never get it done because there's so many other things to worry about before a show. But I'm going to try for all of you kind people out there, all of you dwellers of Brian's basement. Oh, hello. Okay, this next one is actually not a new one. I wrote this song last May for Song a Day in May, and we played it on the show in a BSSBS episode, and so it doesn't have a title. This song is about how I think the NFL really bothers me. So does the NCAA to some degree, and they take this wonderful thing and they just really do a lot of bad for people, like a little bad by a lot of people for this really wonderful thing that I love, and that bothers me a lot. And so and it's also a thing that you can't really do without a team, and that's really a bummer. And so I wrote this song about that, and it doesn't have a title because none of the BSSBS songs have a title, but it's just kind of just a weird, goofy song. I wish there was a town somewhere in the Rust Belt where church was a grass field and nobody knelt, and everyone gathered with the rise of the sun. The field would be marked yards 100-1, and they'd chat with their hot drinks while the snow slowly melts. Then, at the right time, they'd throw the football around and form into small games across the whole ground. Women and children and young men and old would try to kick footballs in between poles, and they'd laugh and they'd cry as they went through the down. There'd be no big contracts or patriotic displays. Commercials would seem crass and cheapen the day. What is there here? No cravenly owners that hide in their vaults. What is there here that you can't own at all? And if these things make it real, then it's probably fake. And this is all silly, a crazy old dream. But it helps me to cope with the pattern I've seen. What does it say that we always forget? the purity of things outside the TV set. So I'll dream, yes, I'll dream for as long as I need. Yeah, there's at least 2 other songs on Brian's Basement about football. One was the Thomas Morstead punter song. I played that on piano. And I'm fairly certain there was a News Network one about football, but I could not find it in this giant mess pile of notebooks. But I did find this one, so there you go. So I know there's more out there, but you'll have to check the archives for those. All right. Yeah, review the tape, producer Kim says. Well, it's time now for Brian's Boombox, our favorite segment. Okay, this week for Brian's Boombox, we have Red Balloon by Bailiff. We talked about Bailiff in the song Stories, so I thought, why not? They deserve a spot in the illustrious crew of Brian's Boombox. This is their first album released in 2011, and so when I saw them, it was probably, well, it was way after that, but you know, with a small band, you tour on your album for quite a long time. And this is the one that kicks off. The very first time on the song is the song that I mentioned in last week's story, where the opening notes are so distinct, and it pulls you right in, and it's just a moment I'll never forget. Bailiff is a 3-piece. They're no longer active. They were a 3-piece rock band that had a guitar, and the guy would sing, and he'd play crazy riffs on his guitar, and the bass player would, was playing way up high on the neck and doing crazy chords and rhythmic things, and then their drummer, that really kind of tied it all together and would do cool things. Like, the thing I remember that stood out was he would play his tom drum with a maraca, like, to get it, like, extra noise out of it. But the cool thing about this band is that they, with only 3 people, they make such a big sound because everybody is doing something incredible on their instrument all the time, but not in like a flashy way. It all fits together to make this whole, and they don't stomp on each other. And it's, when you hear the album, it's crazy to think that it's really only 3 people, but I think that for the most part, most of the albums are similar to how they do them live. Like, there's a little additional background synths and stuff like that, but overall, it's pretty good representation of what it feels like to see them live. Bailiff, they have at least 2. They have 2 full-length albums and I think an EP, and super good. Check them out. One of my favorites. One of my all-time favorites. I have their CD in my car right now. So, Red Balloon by Bailiff. That's this week's Brian's Boombox. All right, I got a couple more songs for you tonight. What's going on down here? Oh, what's going on in the chat? It says that Alex says there is some mud in my car. That's a great joke by the fans. The fans, they're cracking each other up in the chat. Wow. There is some mud in my car. What? Kim says it's dirt, not mud, because it's not wet. Kim, everybody, the expert on dirt and mud. All right. This next song is about this next song is a song about being the kicker. I was the kicker and the punter. I also played the line. People forget this, but I was really proud of. I really liked being the kicker. But by the time I was a junior and senior, I was really more into the line at that point, because I was doing much better at it by that time. And but I still like the great thing about being a kicker is you can still do it today. And one of the things you have to do is it's a very high pressure situation, and so you have to be able to clear your mind almost completely, almost in like a meditative state where you kind of really lock everything out. And so I wrote this song about that. There's a lot of allusions in this song to like making fun of the kicker, and that is kind of a thing that happens, but it's not. It never really happened too much to me. But they did make fun of me because this is a story. This is a formative story. In my very first game, when I was a freshman, I never played football before. I went through the summer and learned how to play and do all that stuff. And I wanted to be the kicker. And so the coach let me kick off, and I took all my steps wrong because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I got all out of sync, and I kicked the ball only like 10 yards, and everyone thought it was like an onside kick, and it wasn't. I just missed it real bad, and I felt really dumb. And all the players made fun of me, and they called me like 10-yard. And it was pretty, I mean, it felt kind of bad at the time, but it is pretty funny now. And for the most part, though, and the reason why I bring that up is because most of the players are actually pretty nice to the kickers these days. I think that's kind of like an old thing. Yeah, no one really gives a shit too much anymore. So all these illusions are just dramatic more than anything. Solitary kicker takes the field with seconds left to go in the half. Down 2 points in the bright light, he buckles up his chin strap. And all of the coaches suddenly care. Teammate, don't call him names that they call in the locker room. Now that he can win the game, takes his steps from the ball, perfect squared off line, focuses on the task at hand, and he tries to clear his mind. Thoughts of simplistic beauty, how skill so carefully honed actually make a difference. But he tries to clear his mind of the weight of his failure. Should he hook it to the right? Each miss increases the pressure. He tries to clear his mind of the glory of his triumph. Should he hit it just right? And how the party won't last long, but he tries to clear his mind. Whistle blows, the ball is snapped. 1 second 44. A blank slate for a single play. Not 1 second more. Kristen says, I'm curious what made you decide to join football since you grew up playing basically every other sport. I decided to play football because I played soccer as a kid. And I was going to play soccer in high school, but I went to go play. This is a recurring thing. This happened in football too. I went to go play in like the summer program or whatever for soccer, and I told the coach, I like to play, I play this position. I know how to play this one. And then they was like, well, how about you play this instead? And I didn't really like it, and I wasn't really good at it. And so I thought, I'm sure friend of the show, Dad, had something to do with this, but he was just like, why don't you just try this and see if you like it? And I did, and I went, and I did like it. It's fun. And I thought I could be a kicker just because I played soccer, but you had to play another position too. You couldn't just be the kicker. And so I started learning how to play the offensive and defensive line. And so I did that most of the time. And yeah, it turned out to be, I just liked it a lot more. I liked how intense it was, and how, it's like corny. It's like playing Army Man. Is what it was like. Crawl in the dirt and tackle people. I just like that. And then, looking back at soccer, and I was just like, oh man, all I do is like run laps and like hang out, and I left that so far behind. I would never finish it. And I ended up, I really liked baseball the best as a kid. That was my favorite. And but baseball at Taylor was a giant waste of time. And I think about this a lot. I wish a couple things on football. I wish I was, because I wish I was meaner. I think if I played now, I would just be like, I'm gonna kill you for no reason because it's just football. It doesn't matter. Like, just do it. Who cares? Just keep it on the confines of the field. I wish that, and I wish that I didn't play baseball, because then I could have been working out more. And baseball teams did not work out. Didn't work out it didn't work out. But they also didn't lift weights either, which is ridiculous. And I wish that I would have, because if I would have combined all the lifting during the season with football, and in the off season I did as much as I could. I didn't skip the gym, and I'm really proud of that. That was another friend of the show, Dad. He wouldn't let me. That was a really good call at his point. He said, if you're going to do it, you do it all the way. And it's a good lesson. So I don't know where I'm going with this. But yeah, if I would have not played baseball, I would have learned how to lift on my own sooner, which I learned in college. And I made way more gains in the weight room in college than I ever did in high school. So I do regret that. So lift those weights, kids. Still doing that today, too. That's the great thing about football. You can't play it, so you can think about it all the time, but you can still do all the other things around football, like lift weights and run and kick footballs. So you can do all that still. All right. Good question. Friend of the show, Kristen. Okay. I got one more song for you all. Hey, we're going to have a full episode. Can you believe that? A full episode about songs about football. Who would have thought? one of the things that I reflect on a lot. So we started off when I was talking to brother Jason about football being good fake adversity that's helpful. The other thing that football is super impactful in my life is that we were losers. We were bad at it, and I tried. One thing I'm glad I don't regret is that I didn't try, because I definitely tried my ass off. I just think if I knew better, I could have done better. But I tried my ass off, and I did all right. Not great, not terrible. And but there is so much to be had from being a loser. Every sport I played as a kid, our team was losers. We were a bunch of nerds. We lost at baseball. We lost at soccer. Lost at football. Our band was terrible. We just didn't win. I never won anything, ever. And I think that makes me a very uniquely anti-competitive not anti-competitive, I'm just not competitive. I like co-op things, because when you're down 55-0 at the half, it's not really about winning the game anymore. It's really like, hey, dude next to me on the line, let's just try to get some yards this time. Me and you, very co-op oriented, and that's how I am. I like co-op games. I like games against inanimate objects or stuff like that. I'm not super competitive, and I think that's a really good thing. I think you have to know how to lose and be graceful and learn from it, because I think there's a lot more to be learned from being a loser than there is from being a winner. So this is a song about that. It's called what is it called? It's called "Blessed Are the Losers." Wait. That's not right. Hold on. I've upgraded from 2 to 3 harmonicas now, thanks to friend of the show, Stefan, who got me that F harmonica. So now I'm just completely lost. I put harmonica in every single one of these songs, and the reason is because I was tired of doing the whole headphones off, harmonica off. I was like, let me just play harmonica every song. And me and Kim watched a Todd Snyder concert, and he plays the harmonica in like every song. So I was like, why, I can do that too. When the scoreboard reads like an epitaph, a minute into the second half, play for pride or play for fun, this'll be worth it in the long run. History is written by the victor's hand, but losers go to the promised land. At least they say, but it's no reprieve. 'Cause what else could I choose to believe? Sing it out for all the losers, the silver liners, the rationalizers, the reminiscers and the virtue choosers, the closed-eyed reality deniers. Blessed are the meek, for we shall inherit the earth, so long as we don't blow the lead. Free from the shackles of petty competition, work hard for yourself, not for somebody's mission. Roll with the punches, love and grace. Don't get caught up in the race. Sing it out for all the losers, the silver liners and rationalizers, the reminiscers and the virtue choosers, the closed-eyed reality deniers. Blessed are the meek, for we shall inherit the earth, so long as we don't blow the lead. So don your participation ribbons with pride. Take the locker room speech with pride, in stride. Be wary of anyone that wins all the time. They're probably not playing the game right. Sing it out. All the losers, the silver whiners and rationalizers, the reminiscers and the virtues choosers, the closed-eyed reality deniers. Blessed are the meek, for we shall inherit the earth, so long as we don't blow the lead. One of the reeds went out there in that. Football songs, 63rd episode. Brian's Basement. Anyone got anything to say in here? No. Oh, Kim's got a football joke. Why did the football coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback. Good job, Kim. I'm so proud. Anyway, that's all I got for you this week. 63rd episode. We've got two more episodes of Brian's Basement after this. Next week, we have a very special guest. Friend of the show, Stefan, is coming by the show. He, if you remember way back when, was our very first guest on Brian's Basement. He's coming back, and we're going to do a set, because we've talked about it a lot on the show. So we're going to do a set of Toby Keith Urban. That's our band. Just like we used to do it when we had our little reoccurring gig downtown. So he's stopping by next week. We're gonna play some songs, and then we got the grand finale, which won't be that grand. Just throwing that out there. But as usual, thank you everybody for watching this nonsense, and I'm so glad. And we will. Oh, Alex says, I like how all coaches, you've distilled football into a philosophy. Football philosophy is one of my favorite things because it's so ridiculous and it's funny to apply it into real life scenarios. Like, just like never give up. Like, you should definitely give up sometimes. Like, it is definitely advantageous. Anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. As usual, like I said, thanks for watching. We'll be back next week. And stay safe out there. Do something nice for yourself and do something nice for someone else. And when you do, come back and tell me about it here on Brian's Basement. Bye!